Jack. Where's Jack? Where is he? Jack, I want to see you. Great job, Jack. Thank you. What a job you do. You know, we have an incredible thing. We're always talking about the fake news and the bad, but we have guys, and these are the guys who should be getting Pulitzers.
All right, Jack Posobiec, here we are back live, Human Events Daily, Washington, D.C., the palatial new Real America's Voice studio. I love this space, guys. This is so nice. And I want to bring on our next guest. She's not in studio, although I wish she was, because I've been reading her incredible article all about how the left is just not able to run our cities. And the question is, can our cities survive? And I love the implicit, sort of the implicit value that's underlying all of this is that should our cities survive, and this gets into what I've been saying for a long time, that city conservatives are actually fighting for the city, because the city is and our great cities like New York, like Washington, D.C., like, if I could add to the mix, Philadelphia, and of course Chicago, which President Trump was talking about, they are worth saving. Peggy Keenan joins us now. Peggy, how are you?
We're doing great. How are you doing, Jack?
I'm doing fantastic. Let me ask you that question then, and kind of piggybacking off of your new article, are our cities worth saving, and why? Why should we save our cities?
Yeah, I mean, right now I do want to save, for example, Los Angeles, because I do still live here.
And you're in Los Angeles,
I'm not ready
right?
to just
That's why
burn
it's
it
a
all
perfect
down
example.
yet. Half of it has burned down, so we're sort of halfway to destroying it. But we can't forsake our cities just because these are still New York, Chicago, LA. These are still sort of the centers of commerce and huge industries and lots of people. And so, okay, we can all move to the hinterlands and move to the to rural America. But I mean, I'm not good with animal husbandry. Okay, I sort of need to live in a city, and a lot of people enjoy living in cities, and cities are where people come together and create culture, and there's giant infrastructure here and airports and all the great things and the beaches. There's a reason people move to California. It's nice here.
Well, and this is, I kind of threw this piece up a while ago as President Trump made this push now to pacify our cities and to make them safe again for families. And we had the Polish president was here today at the White House, but when I was back in Poland, in Warsaw, it struck me that here I am in the capital city of Poland. There's 2 million people there, and yet it's completely clean. It's completely safe. And it wasn't just like that because of the inauguration. It's always been like that every time that I've been there, because they take these things seriously. There's little to no graffiti. The street crime just doesn't exist the way that it does in the capital of my country. And I remember thinking, I had a couple of videos that went absolutely viral when I was there, and that's kind of what led me to write this treatise on city conservatives. And I said the city conservative is different because they're dealing with a home and a place that has been stolen from them, very much deliberately so. And whereas the rural conservative is fighting to conserve their way of life, which we should fight to conserve, of course, and they are our brothers. But I'm just saying that the city conservative is coming at it from a different perspective because their formation process, that pipeline, is different because they're seeing it happen in real time all around them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the liberals stole this land for us, for sure. California was a ruby red state for a long time, even Los Angeles, even Pacific Palisades, Pasadena, all these neighborhoods. We are definitely on stolen lands, and I think it would be great to reclaim it. Of course, we do have a way to go. And I think the reason why, for example, the mayor of LA, Karen Bass, and the mayor of Chicago, and all these people are resisting the kind of, what Trump's new policy of cleaning up these big blue cities, is because he proved in DC in 1 week you can actually clean up the city. Like, it's not this pipe dream they've been campaigning on for 40 years. We got to raise your taxes. We need to vote for me. I'm going to finally clean up the homeless and clean up the drugs and clean up the junkies and clean up the trash. And then it somehow never happens. They form a committee and we need another 10 billion to make it happen. And it turns out the ACLU won't let us move these people off the sidewalk where they're unconscious in their own feces. We're not allowed to do it. Trump proved them all wrong. You can do it in a week if you have the will. I mean, Gavin Newsom did it in San Francisco when the premier of China was coming. He cleaned it up. For 2 weeks, it was pristine, downtown San Francisco, and then it went right back. We've had in LA, for example, Skid Row, which is a section of downtown Los Angeles. This is the biggest, one of the biggest downtowns, cities, urban environments in the world. Huge skyrise buildings, lots of people down there. Staples Center, all of these things. USC's campus is there. And yet Skid Row is a 50 square block area of downtown Los Angeles that has been given over to drug addicts since the 80s. Like my entire life, it's been just a no-go zone. Looks like this, what you have on your screen. And there's a permanent population of 4,000 to 5,000 people who just live there all the time doing drugs openly. And if you ever drive through downtown LA and you make a wrong turn, you end up in here. It's one of the most, that's happened to me. It's one of the most terrifying situations that'll ever happen to you in LA as a tourist, is taking a wrong turn onto Skid Row. And the thing is, there's mini Skid Rows all over the city. I drive through them all the time when I'm heading over to Fox Studios to do a hit with Trace Gallagher or something. I will drive under an overpass and see this. Dozens of carts, millions of junkies. And this is not a money issue of they can't pay the rent, this is drugs. And Trump has proved them all wrong with what he's done in DC.
Look, it's very simple. It's called Bukele the cities. Just Bukele all
Yes.
the major cities.
That's right.
And it's really simple, and it's something that we've been talking about for a long time. And you just take your stuff seriously. You take this stuff seriously, and then all of a sudden you don't play any more games. You don't play this game of, oh well, they want to be there. By the way, you mentioned these areas of Philadelphia with the druggies. So there's an account you can go follow on Instagram. It's called Kensington Beach. And why is it called Kensington Beach? Well, they call it a beach because you've got people that are laid out all over the sidewalks as if they're sunning themselves on the beach, but they're really all got, they've got needles in their arms or they're doing fentanyl, and so they're all just passed out, and it looks like they're on the beach. And it's just the absolute human depravity of there, which, by the way, as conservatives, we look at that and say, hey, these are people who need help. They might be on some kind of chemical dependence or undergoing some mental health issues, which largely go hand in hand there. So let's get them the help they need, but at the same time, get them off the streets so you can walk down with your kids. And it's the same way when you're dealing with the drugs, which, I'll say it again, going and conducting this military strike that President Trump did down with this small boat coming out of the cartels with Tren de Aragua, those drugs were going to fuel all of these street issues that you and I are talking about. So it's directly connected. And those drugs were going to kill Americans and hurt American cities.
Yeah, I mean, I see these people just in my neighborhood that literally I pass a dozen unconscious, sunburned, filthy human beings on the way to Mass on Sunday. You'll just drive around and see them. And I've called 311 to report some of these situations. Like I saw a man face down once, like 2 blocks from me, face down, his pants down. And I wasn't sure if he was dead or what was going on. Maybe he was overdosing, which is common. I called 311 and the female police officer yelled at me. And she said, basically, how dare you assume he's on drugs? People have the right to sleep if he was tired. How dare you make that assumption that he was a drug addict? And I was like, oh, okay, that was the police department telling me to mind my own business. And they are more important than, by the way, he was asleep outside of a public library across the street from an elementary school. And so there was no, that's where their allegiance lies, is the people who are abusing our kind of like kindness and generosity.
And it's like, look, we all get it. We all want to be the Good Samaritan. We want to be that. But you know what the Good Samaritan did in the Bible? The Good Samaritan got them out of the street and got them the help that they need. The Good Samaritan didn't drive by and say, oh, that's their choice to lie there in a ditch. That's kind of the whole point. So if you're perpetuating that, you're not being a good Samaritan at all. You are allowing this person to stay in a place where they are being harmed, where their own, their life, their existence, and by the way, that's somebody's son, that's somebody's daughter, whoever, or maybe in some cases, unfortunately, it's someone's mom, it's someone's dad, or certainly, brother, sibling, whatever it might be. And, people want to sit there, and this is the very sort of like, you know, the libertarians don't like when I say this, but I say, you know, I think that we actually should help people when they're in situations like that, and shouldn't just allow people to wallow in this filth that, again, by the way, absolutely destroys our cities. Peachy Keenan, incredible article. I love the discussion. Where can people go to follow you and get access to all your writings?
Follow me on Substack, peachykeenan.com, and on X at KeenanPeachy.
All right, Peachy, we got to get you up on humanevents.com, by the way. You know, you're putting out this white hot stuff. We need you up there.
Thanks, Jack.
All right, thank you so much. God bless. Folks, we'll be right back here with more on Human Events Daily, Real America's Voice.